Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. You see the live cam of the Windjammer, which is right down the street from us. If you walk down this pier and keep going straight about a couple blocks, I'm on the right-hand side. And looks like we got a little storm going on out there, and it's about 76 degrees, so still a beautiful day. But we're wrapping it up with the weekend here, and wow, by the way, I blew through. I think it's the most views I've ever had on any of my videos. Completely unexpected, and I don't know exactly what it means. I think people were kind of surprised by my comment of $35 silver on the thumbnail at the beginning of the video, and that might have got a lot of attention. And I don't want anyone to think that was clickbait, because it really wasn't clickbait. Yes and no. Clickbait in the sense that I wanted you to watch the video to hear what I was talking about. And again, last night's video is up to 1,700 views. That's a lot for me. I'm just some little guy and doing videos and trying to help some people out and having fun with it. So I was really surprised by that. I was wowed by it, in fact. And again, the video was meant to kind of show you what the spot prices, the disconnect between paper gold and ETFs, and COMEX contracts in London, where these are all paper and electronic trades, and the gold isn't really being traded, physical gold isn't really being traded hands. And how much of this paper exists out there that has no gold backing it is just mind-boggling. It's huge. And what happens is that's what determines the spot prices that we see on a daily basis, not this trading of real physical gold. There's a couple comments out there that made that, oh, well, this is just dealers getting greedy. Absolutely not. That's just intellectually lazy comment, because if you didn't watch the video, you would know that, as I said, it's costing all dealers more, including myself. My markup is seldom over $1 per ounce on silver, and that's small quantities. I make $1 an ounce on silver, maybe. Again, on small quantities. Over my markup, mind you. So not over spot. For example, if I have to go out across the country and look for 1 ounce silver rounds, and the lowest seller out there is like spot plus $1, which it was at one time, or 75 cents, or $1.25. Of late, it's cost me over $3.50 to buy silver myself. That's without even making a profit. And that's from one of the lowest sellers I can find out there. So the product is not available. And what I was trying to make the point is that when the product becomes available, it's true supply and demand. If someone has silver, I have a ton of customers asking for it, and that customer that has the silver wants more for it. I'm kind of forced to pay more for it, or whatever my customers are willing to pay for it. It's not whether I like the prices or not, like the premiums, but you know what? This isn't really, this is true supply and demand happening. Not what you're seeing with the paper markets, the ETFs, the COMEX contracts, which again, they're just paper. It's not real gold trading hands, and I've been saying that for some times. It's just paper trading hands. So that is why you see silver at $27 an ounce, not $30, not $35, and not $40 an ounce probably. That is why you see gold dropping when it's really impossible or really hard to get physical gold right now. The same thing with silver. Silver's not doing much of anything. It's kind of hanging in that $27 range when it really should be much higher. I mean, there's just no physical silver. I mean, I won't say no physical silver available, but there is a huge demand for real silver in people's hands. And there's very little bit out there. And you all know this. If any of you aren't living in my area and have to shop online and go out, and even I go look at JM Bullion and SD Bullion and APMEX on a daily basis, because I need to know what price I need to beat, because I beat their prices. Anyway, I had to throw that shameless plug in. But even I know that I look at their sites, they have none, they have none, they have none. Notify you later, notify you later, none in stock, none in stock. These are mega superstores of precious metals. These guys have good sources. I mean, I have good sources because I'm small, but I've been in the business a long time, so I know who's who. And these guys also have good sources, and they are out of product, folks. So no, this is not a sham by dealers trying to get rich. This is not people pumping up premiums. This is just dealers like mega dealers and dealers like myself looking anywhere to buy product, and when we find it, we're kind of forced to pay what we need to pay to get it. And the problem with new product out of the ground, mines have been shut for the last year or so. So now we've got a big problem where you've got very little scrap coming in, so you don't have a lot of refiners pumping out scrap to produce new gold coins or bars. You have very little silver scrap coming in, so you don't have a lot of silver scrap being turned into bars and coins. And even if you did, don't forget, these refiners were also closed for almost a year, and they're still not operating at full staff. None of the refiners worldwide are, and the same thing applies to not just the mines, but or the refiners, but the mines too. The mines have been closed for a year now. South Africa, the reason you're not seeing many Krugerrands out of there and smaller product or less product is because the mines have been closed, and the refining has been closed, and the minting has been closed. So you've got these three things going against us as well. We've got a huge demand right now for real gold and silver, not paper. People don't want to hold paper. Precious metal ETFs, are they a sham, as my question says here? Listen, if you're not, as I said in yesterday's video, if somebody says, here's money, here's $10,000, go buy me some gold and silver, and they're sitting at their house and they say, okay, go do it. And you come back with some paper in your hands. Did you buy gold and silver? No, you didn't. You really didn't. And that's exactly what you own with ETFs and COMEX contracts in London. And you don't own real metal. That's just endless paper. It's almost like currency, just endlessly printed. Anyways, I'd like to thank everybody for watching the video, and I gave you my long explanation on why silver really is over $30 an ounce and hit a high of $35 an ounce. I'm going to tell you what I think the real spot price is today at the end of the video here, not what you're seeing on the online or on your phones, on your whatever. I'm going to tell you what I think the real spot price is based on the premiums that we're having to pay right now. Anyways, there it goes. I said I wasn't going to say anyway, and I did. Let's take a look at the news here. This was kind of interesting because it does kind of tie into what we're talking about. Bitcoin holds record high as JPM Morgan co-president admits will have to be involved. So JPM has said a couple times that Bitcoin was a scam, then they said it wasn't a scam, then they said it was a scam. Now they're saying they're going to get involved with it. There's already been some huge institutions involved with it already, including Elon Musk, who said he's gotten into Bitcoin or something, or claims he has, and that seems to be the general rumor out there. And Bitcoin prices are kind of quite up there. However, in the Bitcoin particularly, I can't see it lasting a long time, or I think what you're going to see is heavy regulation in the Bitcoin market. India just made Bitcoin illegal. It's illegal in China, so you got two of the largest continents here with mega amount of people that made it illegal. And of course, you would expect those would be the first countries to do that. But there's other countries following in, and there is going to be, if they don't make it illegal, countries are going to highly regulate it. And I'll tell you why, folks, and you all know this. There's one thing that governments and bankers hate. They hate competition. And cryptos are competition to them. Competition to their fiat currencies, competition to their paper gold and their paper silver and their contracts and their ETFs. It's competition, folks, and they don't like competition. And once you start getting the big whales like JP Morgan involved with crypto coins, now all of a sudden these guys are going to come in and they're going to completely run that market like they run every other market. All the little guys are going to get screwed. And that's just my opinion, of course. So I do see big regulation coming into Bitcoin. I don't see any great reason to own it, except maybe right now you can take advantage of this parabolic kind of high that it's going through. And there's a lot of guys out there that have made money with Bitcoin, and that's great. That's what modern, that's what capitalism is all about, folks, is making money on stuff like this. And doing, as long as it's fair, and as long as you're not screwing people, and as long as you're not doing anything illegal. Bitcoin, I think if you're making money on Bitcoin, that is wonderful. That is true capitalism. And Bitcoin is all about capitalism, in my opinion. However, as I said, banks and governments hate competition. I can see them getting into it. And the other downside to Bitcoin, and here we go, and I'm not trashing Bitcoin because I do see it as being a future, but what does ETFs And the current U.S. dollar, that's actually a silver dollar, was backed by silver at one time. Look, I'm sure we'll get back to that in a little bit. So what does ETFs, the fiat current Federal Reserve note, and Bitcoin have in common? Well, what they do have in common is they are non-tangible and they are fiat. Bitcoin, no matter how you slice it and dice it, it's not really money. It is and it isn't. It's hard to explain. It's not money because it's too crazy. Its ups and downs are too crazy. And you got to have, when you have money, you have to have some kind of stability in currency. Although you don't want to see a currency just fall. And that's the difference between Bitcoin and the dollar, is that the dollar is being printed endlessly. There's so many, but there's only so many Bitcoin. So we don't have to worry about them endlessly printing Bitcoins unless someone can hack it or do something like that. That's the upside of Bitcoin versus a fiat dollar. Again, the downside is that governments and banks hate competition. But really, the downside to Bitcoin, like the fiat dollar and like ETFs, is that they are backed by nothing. There's nothing tangible behind it. And the word tangible, I love Investopedia, by the way. If you're going to search any kind of economic terms, use Investopedia, don't use Wikipedia. What is a tangible asset? A tangible asset is an asset that has finite monetary value and usually physical form. Tangible assets can typically always be transacted for some monetary value, though the liquidity of different markets will vary. And here, the important point, tangible assets are the opposite of intangible assets, which have a theorized value rather than a transactional exchange value. And here's the key word for Bitcoin, fiat dollars, and you could even say ETFs, theorized value. They are not tangible. There's nothing tangible behind it. And really what that means is that, where'd my little thingy go? The only difference between a fiat dollar and a monopoly currency is the belief that one has more value than the other. There's nothing tangible about either one of these, except really the tangibility, at least of a dollar, is that you have a piece of paper, you can wipe your butt with it if you needed it, and if you were ever in a jungle in Costa Rica somewhere and you needed to buy a coconut to survive, you could probably do it with a fiat dollar, but if you didn't have internet access or electricity, I'm certain you couldn't do it with the Bitcoin. So there is one advantage of the dollar over Bitcoin, but no less, the dollar is a fiat currency, and there's nothing backed by it. You know, in the old days, it was backed by silver. Now it's backed by nothing. They can endlessly print it. And again, that's the advantage of Bitcoin, that is got a limited amount. But again, the problem with Bitcoin is it's just belief. You have to believe that it's money. And not only do you have to believe that it's money, there's nothing tangible about it. There's nothing backing it. No property, no real estate, no gold, no silver, no nothing. Nothing backs it. And that's the downside of it. And to me, Bitcoin is really not much different than a dollar, except it's limited in how many they can make, which is a good thing. But as far as I'm concerned, it's just electronic fiat. But again, like I said, if you're making money on it like a stock, or like you would a stock or a bond, I don't see it as money. And if you're going to see it as money, it's nothing more than a fiat currency, because it's not nothing backed by anything tangible. However, I look at it like a stock, and that's the capitalist side of me that's saying, hey, listen, if you're making money on something called Bitcoin, it's an electronic fiat kind of stock. Great, and I'm all for that. But I don't see a big future for Bitcoin itself. I see governments and banks taking it over and making their own type of Bitcoin product. Well, all that in one breath. Been a long day here. And again, that's why I like to have gold here. And gold is all about tangible. You can hold it in your hands. It can't be reproduced by man. I think one time in a lab somewhere at a nuclear reactor or something, at one of those colliders, they actually created a gold isotope. But an isotope, folks. I don't even know how long an isotope lasts for or what it looks like. But they were actually in some multi-billion-dollar lab in some expensive-ass experiment. I think I heard that they were able to create a gold isotope. But no man has ever been able to recreate gold. And that's what I like about gold. It's made by stars, and that's where you saw my little star thing here. It's made by stars. It's not made by this guy. So, and nothing wrong with this guy. This guy has made our lives way better, and Bitcoin is a pretty cool thing. However, if I'm going to secure my wealth, I'm going to secure it with something that is made by stars and is finite in availability, and is not easy to get. So I'm going to hold gold. That's my opinion. Nothing against Bitcoin, but I think it's a much better deal. Well, let's get on to markets here, because I kind of digressed into a few different subjects. And of course, if you've watched my videos for the last year or close to a year, you're familiar with monkey hammering. And that's exactly what we're continuing to see right now in the gold and silver markets. Monkey hammering by the paper markets, because they are certainly not following the physical markets at all. Let's take a look at markets this morning. Silver kind of holding its own right there, but silver really should be much higher, and I'm going to tell you what I think the spot price really is. Let's take a look at the opening market right now. 1817 for gold. We had a low as low as 1811, probably early this morning, I would bet, around London or something like that, 7 in the morning, between 4 and 8 in the morning or something. We had a low of 1811 and a high of 1828, which I would suspect was last night sometime. Again, didn't look, but right now we're sitting around 1770. Why? That's the question. Why? With gold availability really slim and the premiums really high, I'm going to say that this is about, oh my gosh, that's a hard one to figure. I'm going to say that gold should be about $1,950 right now, at least, based on what the premiums are. Gold Eagles retail are around 170. They've always been around $75 or something like that. So add 100 to this price right here, and I think gold should be around 1917 at least, probably more, but I'm saying minimum spot price. In my opinion, is I'm calling it 1920. Let's say 1920. The real spot price is. And silver, same thing. I think they're around 32. So how much over is that? 5. I'm going to call silver's definitely 20. Let's say $30 an ounce. The real spot price should be $30 an ounce, not this nonsense 27.15. Again, silver really short in supply right now. So this should be much higher than this. And platinum, I don't know how platinum markets are monkey hammered, and I'm sure they are. I've always been told that platinum is controlled by the Russians, the Canadians, and the oh my gosh, Russians, Canadians, and South African, who have the largest mines and produce the most platinum and palladium. So I'm told that there's a cartel of them that control the market, but I can't tell you how they do it or why. All I can tell you is platinum is actually been very impressive. It's jumped up a couple $100 in the last few weeks, and it's gone kind of unnoticed. So I'm liking what I'm seeing in platinum, even though it's down a few bucks here, and it's not being as severely monkey hammered as gold and silver is. So you got my opinion. I think the real price of gold is 1920. The real spot price is, and I think the real spot price of silver is at least 30. That's just my opinion. And again, hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. Y'all blew my mind with how many views I got on yesterday's videos. Maybe it's just a fluke. Even if it's a fluke, I still appreciate it. And I appreciate all my peeps that have been watching me for the last year as well. I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the comments as well. Hey, thanks for watching. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Hey, check out my reviews on Google, too. I got some good reviews on there. Also, here's our website here, and give me a call anytime between Mondays and Fridays between 10 and 4 at 954-493-8811. If you have any questions about precious metals or anything else, happy to answer it for you. And again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And that's really about it. If anything crazy happens in the gold and silver markets and platinum markets today, I'll do a end of the day Friday video. If not, I'll talk to you Monday. And hey, have a great day. Thanks for watching.